Brian Dutcher is going to join us here momentarily. Aztecs 2025-26 schedule is out, and it's an exciting one because they've got Michigan and Oregon in Las Vegas. They have Arizona on a neutral floor in Phoenix. They've got a conference slate that now includes Grand Canyon. So there's a lot to get into, including the upcoming year with the head coach of the Aztecs, Brian Dutcher, back with us on John and Jim. San Diego Sports 760. Dutch, always appreciate you taking time. We know you spoke with the media earlier. Schedule is out. It's got the exhibition game as well at Viejas Arena against UCLA. So let's just start there. I mean, what kind of opportunity is that for your program and for the fan base to see UCLA at Viejas Arena, albeit in an exhibition, but to kick off your year?
Yeah, I mean, it's two teams that want to test each other early. Do it in front of a crowd, and I think it's a great opportunity for both UCLA and San Diego State to kind of see where they're at in October.
So looking at this schedule here, Dutch, Michigan, Oregon, Arizona, it's a good non-conference schedule. How important will those games be for, when we comes, March time to make your resume the best it possibly can be?
Well, that's the reason we got in last year. Those early wins over Creighton and Houston in the Players Era event in Vegas, and we're right back in it again this year. And obviously we have Michigan and Oregon, our first two games, and then there'll be a third game that'll be a high major game. And so I just believe that you schedule to try to make the NCAA tournament in November. If you falter, you still have the conference and the conference tournament to play your way in. But we've never ducked anybody, and I think if you look at this schedule, you throw Arizona in there too, it's a very competitive schedule.
And the Players Era tournament where you will play Michigan and Oregon and then a third team, whenever that is, or whenever you find out who that is, that tournament is turning out to be a very important tournament for many reasons, not just to help your resume, but as far as NIL money goes, that goes a long way here for the future of this program.
Yeah, I mean, we're to the revenue sharing end of college basketball right now when the judge gavelled the ruling, and so there's a little bit more control over it. But with that being said, I still have to be out there raising that revenue for our program. And the Players Era event that puts $1 million into our NIL coffers and gives us a chance to continue to keep San Diego State relevant on a national level. And that's important not only for the games, but for the financial end of it where we can put a team together.
To that point, and Brian Dutcher with us right now. Again, the Aztecs will open their season for real November 4th against Long Beach State, and a former Aztec assistant, now the head coach there, Chris Acker. So Long Beach State will be at Viejas Arena on November 4th, but a pair of exhibitions, including UCLA and USD at Viejas Arena. But Dutch, to that point, going back to the UCLA exhibition, that's impactful as well, right? Because some of the funds and the proceeds from that game are going to benefit the recruitment and retention fund, which is directly impacting your program, right?
Absolutely. The USD exhibition game will be part of the season ticket package. I think we're giving the fans 17 games in the package, which is as many as we've ever given them. But in order to make money, in order to keep San Diego State basketball moving forward against national competition, we're going to play an NIL game at Viejas Arena. We were offered to move the game to a neutral site, but I just thought it was important we played at our arena in front of our fans, and I think the opportunity for them to purchase tickets to help the program, I think will go a long way.
Dutch, we always talk about metrics, and the Mountain West the last few years has been so solid across the board, getting right 3, 4, 5, 6 teams into the NCAA tournament. What's the impact of the addition of Grand Canyon, a team that's been in the tournament, that has had good metrics? You'll play them both in Phoenix and in San Diego this upcoming year.
It just adds to our strength of schedule. To add Grand Canyon twice onto the schedule on top of our non-conference schedule, and then what could be a very competitive Mountain West will do nothing but help us build the kind of resume we need, not only to make it into March, but to get a high seed in March.
How's the health of the team looking headed into the stretch run before the season starts here?
It's early September, and we're in pretty good health. Magoon is still coming back from his knee ahead of schedule, and so we will have him out there in October and getting him ready, which it's a long season. I'm not concerned with that. And then we have a few aches and pains, but nothing that's season long like last year when we ended up losing Reese for the season with a broken foot. We had Nick Boyd last year who broke a foot and missed the beginning of the year or lead up to the year. And so we're pretty healthy for the most part right now.
Speaking of Reese coming off that broken foot, how has he looked this offseason getting ready for the upcoming year?
He looks good in practice. I mean, he's getting his timing back. You sit an entire season, and even though you're healthy, you haven't really played basketball in a full season. And so now that he's getting his timing back, he's becoming a lot more effective on the court for us. And it's really good to see Reese back out there in the Aztec uniform.
Brian Dutcher with us right now on John and Jim. You've touched on this before publicly. This fine line of having depth, but not necessarily having too much depth, right? I mean, it's better to have depth as opposed to not have it. What are the challenges it creates when you have a team that might be among the deepest teams in the history of San Diego State men's basketball?
Yeah, obviously it's getting these guys minutes and knowing that I can't play them all. And so there's going to be disappointed guys in that locker room. And I understand that. And I feel for the guys that aren't out there. But a year ago when we had injuries, we ended up being shorthanded without Reese, Magoon for 7 games. And that was hard too. And so if we stay healthy, we'll probably have a tough time getting everybody in the game. But, injuries can occur and things happen. And so it's good to have that extra depth.
Where are you expecting the growth from Miles Bird, who's now entering his 4th year in the program and went through the NBA evaluation process, the combine process? Like, where's his confidence at, and what's the next step in his evolution?
Bird had a great summer, preparing for the draft, working out for different NBA teams, going to the combine, and all those experiences help you. We should have a more physically mature Bird, one that's been through the process and kind of knows what it is to be the kind of player he wants to be. And so just the maturity and the growth should serve not only Miles well, but the Aztecs as well.
One of your new transfers, Latrell Davis from San Jose State. Fans maybe want to know a little bit more about him, his game, his style, where he might be fit into this team this year or in the future. What can you tell fans a little bit about Latrell Davis?
Well, obviously, Latrell had 26 and 22 on the Aztecs last year.
Yeah.
So we know he can score the ball, and he scores it at different levels. He can make the three. He attacks with strength to the basket. And so Latrell's going to be a very important addition to what we're doing. And he's looked good in practice and will continue to get better as he gets accustomed to the Aztec system, both offensively and defensively.
What's the first summer like, Dutch, in your program when you look at your freshman class, a year ago with Taj and Pharaoh, right now, LZ Harrington and Tay Simmons? What's that process like? You got this veteran group, you got 5th and 6th year players, but now you have these newcomers coming in. What's that process like for them as they come into college?
Yeah, I mean, I'm real happy with our freshmen. Tay's been battling a bit of a hamstring, a strain, and so he's been limited. But LZ's looked good in his practice minutes. A year ago, we were playing out of our top players, 6 of them were freshmen and sophomores. And now those guys have grown into sophomores and juniors. So we're excited with the progression of the team that the older you are, the more experience you have, generally, the better your team's going to be. And we got to hope that's the case.
With the offensive weapons you have, and Brian Dutcher with us right now on San Diego Sports 760, what's the acclimation process been like for Sean Newman Jr.? Last year, 3rd in the nation in assists per game. I think I just saw some graphic in terms of returning players in assists per game. He might be 1st or 2nd in the nation in terms of returning players. How has he fit in so far?
Yeah, I mean, a pass-first point guard is good to have when you have scorers on the floor, and we should have scorers on the floor, at every position, whether it's Magoon or Heidi or Pharaoh, inside and around the basket, or Bird and Reese and BJ on the perimeter with Taj. We've got a lot of depth, and we've got a lot of guys who can score the ball. So having a pass-first point guard like Sean will keep everybody happy and everybody involved.
Dutch, I'm curious because you've played Michigan before, even as a head coach. You went to Ann Arbor, and now you're getting Michigan on a neutral floor, but there's more ties in there, like Dusty May, who was at FAU, with some of those players you've seen over the course of some tournament runs over the last couple of years as well. Is there any unique significance when you see Michigan, where you spent all that time, when you see Michigan on a schedule?
It's like seeing Houston a year ago. They're going to be ranked. They're going to be good. They're going to be well coached, and you have to be prepared to play a team like that. Obviously, they're on the transfer portal and add a lot of pieces. We're going to play against the point guard we played against from North Carolina last year.
Right.
We're going to play against Langenborn from UAB, who's over at Michigan now as a transfer. Mara, who played up at UCLA, is on the Michigan roster.
Crazy.
And so faces we're familiar with, but at the University of Michigan. So there'll be some familiarity with the personnel, but they'll be in a new system, and it'll be fun to kind of get ready for a game like that.
Well, we're thrilled, obviously, as, again, the season gets underway with an exhibition against UCLA on Friday, October 17th, and then for real against Long Beach State on Tuesday, November 4th. San Diego State back in the floor at Viejas Arena. Dutch, we appreciate you taking time for us. We'll do it again before the season, and thanks as always for your time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, great stuff from Brian Dutcher, head coach of the Aztecs, entering his 9th year on the Mesa with as high of expectations as they've had, and they've had high ones. I mean, they've had high. Yeah. I mean, off the national championship game, I thought the expectations were high. They get to a Sweet 16. I think this year, it kind of reminds you of like an expectation of, I don't know, go get to a Sweet 16 or further, which is hard to do.
Yeah, I like their non-conference schedule a lot. I like the UCLA exhibition game.
Yeah, definitely.
In front of fans. Like, that's going to be pretty cool. And then Michigan, Oregon, another really good team. So they're going to face those 3 teams there, the Players Era tournament in Vegas, then Arizona. It's a good non-conference schedule, that's for sure.
It really is. And then Grand Canyon twice. I mean, Grand Canyon is not easy,
No.
specifically in Phoenix. And then this league, I mean, you got to go to places like New Mexico and Boise. It has been a good league over the last handful of years.
I actually did forget about that. I forgot that Grand Canyon got put into the Mountain West Conference schedule.
It's just like that.
I know.
It just happened.
Yeah.
You're right.
And everyone's like, wait, what?
It changed
or the
a lot.
teams that were departing were like, excuse me?
But then, from a metric perspective, I think it could be very beneficial for San Diego State. Padres lineup is out.